614 Startups Nation, welcome back to another episode of 614 Startups After Hours. My name is Elio Harmon, your host. And like a good guest, wipe your feet on the mat by hitting that subscribe button and come on in. Today, we're going to be talking about why achieving success is extremely difficult. Now, how many people out there, entrepreneurs, parents, college students, studying or have a goal ahead of them that puts them into an elite class of people who have accomplished such a goal? So, for example, being a good parent is very hard. The good parents make it look easy, but if you're a parent out there, you know how difficult it is to, one, in our very fast-paced world, to make the time to be a good parent, but two, all the different aspects of parenting that are both said, done, but also observed by the kids. And many of the behaviors that you see in the kids that you like, you tend to take credit for. And some of the behaviors that you see in your kids that you don't like, you try to blame it on the kid. But oftentimes, some of those behaviors are being modeled, even if you're not consciously demonstrating them, they're being demonstrated consciously, very subtly to the kids. And so being a great parent is very, very difficult. Anybody who's doing it right will tell you that. How about being a great partner, husband, wife, spouse, partner of some kind? When two people come together and try to become one, that is a difficult process. There are a lot of baggage from previous relationships, even going further back to the whole parenting thing. How was your parents' marriage and how did they deal with difficulties? How did they deal with success? How did they deal with money? What is your outlook on the world? What is your partner's outlook on the world? And oh, guess what? Just to throw in a little extra wrinkle of difficulty, your partner doesn't stay the same and you don't stay the same. So what you enjoyed at the beginning of the relationship may not necessarily turn you on later on in the relationship, and the same for your partner. What their goals are, what their thoughts are, how they feel about the relationship and how they want to be treated, those things are going to change. So being great, being successful in relationship is very difficult. How about being successful in health? Um, to stay at the weight that you want to stay, to look the way you want to look, to feel the way you want to feel. It's extremely difficult. It requires effort. And many times we don't achieve success in these various areas because, hey, sometimes we drop the ball in one while we're trying to juggle the ball or multiple balls in the other. So that's what I'm here to talk about today. The success achievement and just sitting with the fact that it's difficult. I'm not trying to get you out of it. I'm not trying to give you 5 tips for how to get out of it. It's just this realization that it's going to be really, really hard and needing to be comfortable with it as you sit with that and process that on your journey to whatever goal that you are hoping to accomplish. And so I think this is a quote I picked up somewhere. If you've heard it before and you know where the quote comes from, please put it in the chat or in the comments down at the bottom and hit the like button so that somebody else who's watching this, who could benefit from this, who might be going through a difficult time, can see that they are not alone. So success is not an event, it's a process. All right. Now, of course, you have goals, and goals are great because they give you something to measure towards. So where am I today versus where am I going? So it's great directionally, and you must have goals, and you must understand where you are in relationship to those goals. But it's really, success is not an event, it's a process. When you get to that goal, what's going to happen, or what tends to happen for most people, is that you set a new one. So there's this gradual process of goal achievement, goal setting, and then repeating the process over and over again. So once you realize that success is not an event, but a process, and that process will be difficult. And because I watch a lot of entrepreneurial content on YouTube, because I follow a lot of people who are very, very popular on social media around entrepreneurial content, I get ads all the time for how to shortcut and become more successful quicker. And it's very tempting. There's a part of us that really wants to shortcut this process, really wants the process to be easier. Now, of course, experiences from mentors, ideas that you can get from books, they could help you make things a little bit easier. You could be more efficient. You could run your business differently. You could leverage different strategies. But even with those things, the success process is still going to be difficult. You just have to just be comfortable with that. There's no escaping that. Here's why. Something universally, and I don't mean to get spiritual, but something is out there that wants to know how bad you really want it. And you're going to have to go through trials and tribulations, whether in your life or in your business, and develop the character and develop the fortitude and develop the persistence, the determination that it takes to be a successful person. Because it's not only about becoming successful, but it's also about holding on to success. And many people who have achieved success will tell you it's difficult to get there. It's just as difficult to keep it, because success is not an event. You don't get successful and just stay successful by default. You must maintain it. It's like having a great garden or a great farm or a great relationship or a great body or a great business or a great friendship. As soon as you stop maintaining those things, they begin to slip. As soon as you stop kissing your partner, your wife, your husband on the forehead every morning like you used to, playing that Barry White or that Erica Badu. I've been on some Erica Badu recently, you know what I'm saying? Playing that in the kitchen, right? Setting the mood. Let me not get too graphic here, okay, folks? You know what I'm talking about. The things that you used to do early in the relationship to earn that affection. You don't do it anymore, right? So as soon as you stop doing that stuff, you begin to lose the connection. The other person begins to notice they feel less valued. And so if we agree now today on this podcast in the chat, I see dollar and cents. Frugal Freddy, what's up, my brother? Oh man, this is a guy who knows success. And it's in his title, Frugal Freddy, and he is not afraid of his brand, right? And I know this Frugal Freddy has been grinding for a long time, and his focus is around helping people become financially successful. And that's not an easy habit to break. Those are legacy habits, like we talked about early on about family programming when it comes to money. So Frugal Freddy understands the hard work that it takes to become financially successful, and he's earning it. And his story, he's not a guy out there telling people about how easy it's going to be. And at some point, Frugal Freddy, you got to jump on After Hours and talk about it, man. It probably cost you. Maybe cost you something very, very dear to get to where you are today in both life and in your business. So you're welcome, man. Hit me up. Maybe we can get on one of these live sessions and talk about it. So I'm going to continue my conversation about achieving success and why it's extremely difficult, because it's not an event, it's a process. And I heard this quote somewhere else. Man, I got to get better about writing where I hear these quotes from. But you need to be in that process of being successful in all phases of your life every single day. That's what is a force multiplier in terms of difficulty. So I really have my life broken down into multiple phases. I'm just going to go over this, not because I have it together, but it's just because these are the areas in which I aspire to be better. It's kind of warm today in Columbus, Ohio. Let me take this joint off, man. I'm trying to flex with the little, spring jacket on. It's getting hot in here. All right. We're going to work right now. So there are a couple of phases of my life where I want to be successful. These are prioritized in no real order here. This is just a list that every morning I try to write and journal about. So number one, in my spiritual life. Now, listen, you don't have to subscribe to this thinking. It's just my thinking is the way I was raised, and it's where I feel most deeply rooted in this life. There's a lot going on externally, but that internal life, I try to do a good job of prioritizing. All right. So I have the spiritual discipline. Now, every day I have written down here in my journal that I'm going to spend time in a daily devotional. And then on Sundays, I'm going to go to church. That's just my spiritual background. Now, how many days a week do you think when I endeavor to have that daily devotional, do I feel like doing it? Huh? How many times when you set a goal like that, you wake up in the morning, you're so excited to do it? I pause there for effect because some days I get up and I'm looking forward to it, right? I'm in the spirit. I'm ready to go. Where's the Bible? I'm ready to receive something because I'm just in that state. And usually on those days, guess what? It is the compound effect of doing other daily disciplines that gets me ready for that. It's having a great previous day. It's going to bed early enough. It's having good nutrition. It's having all of those things in place that help me on those mornings when I am up, Adam, ready to read the Bible, focused. I can actually retain the content. So that's just one area, right? So I have that daily promise to myself in order to keep that in focus. And that's what I want to talk about when it comes to success. If you're not touching these areas every single day, you're going to find that they're going to slip away from you. So sometimes, and back in the day when I was much younger, I used to have one goal, right? I read, or I listened to the book, The One Thing. And it says, hey, you can't have 15 different priorities. You need to have one thing. But even if you have one primary goal, you're still going to have daily disciplines in all these other areas, because you don't want to arrive at your goal with your health in shambles, your relationship in shambles, your finances in shambles, or whatever combination of those things that are out of control because you neglected them. So these are the primary areas. So let me run through them real quick. So spiritual is that daily devotional. On the physical side, I try to do a couple of things every day. One of the things that I struggle most with is getting sleep at night. Now, I hope you guys understand that sleep is primary when it comes to health, right? It's your moment of rest and recovery. It's where you create memories. And guess what? A lot of problem solving happens while you're asleep. And I'm not getting the right sleep. And guess what? If I'm starting my day off from a sleep perspective, you might as well just throw the rest of the day out. I make it through because I'm kind of used to operating on less than optimal sleep, but that's not great. So I have that area, my sleep. I know I'm building up sleep debt. I need to work on it. I can't let sleep slip simply because I have another goal and I'm trying to accomplish. The other area is mental. How many people understand? I mean, this is the kind of the first generation that really talks about mental and emotional health in a public way. So yeah, you want to have that spiritual discipline. Yeah, you want to be physically fit, but man, your mental health, the conversation up here and managing that is probably one of the most difficult things out there, because there's a lot coming at you. If you're on social media, there are a lot of streams of consciousness just being beamed at you. Maybe some stuff from your childhood, maybe some stuff from previous relationships, some stuff from your parents, some financial hardship that you might be going through. All of those things are feeding into your mental and emotional well-being. And so how high on your list of priorities is your own mental and emotional health? And so one of the things that I do very, very poorly, because I think I have a tendency to action, is to try to have 20 minutes of meditation a day. Now, that's something I found that I try to do in the mornings, but I can't really get to. So I'm prioritizing that in the evening as part of my sleep routine, right? I want to just have that moment in the day where I shut off everything, I close my eyes, and I just check in with Elio. How you doing, man? What's going on up there? What's that chatter that most of the time you're talking, you're doing podcasts so you don't hear, or you're listening to music, or you're at work, or whatever the case may be? Let's tune into Elio and find out how Elio is doing today. So that's an area that I'm focused on, and that is extremely difficult to stick to. The other one is relationships. Everything that you want, I think Zig Ziglar said this, everything in life that you want, somebody else has. And you need to be in relationship with that other person in order to get that thing. So how are you prioritizing your relationships? How are you prioritizing intimate relationships, business relationships, and friendships as well? The other area is career. Now, this is where entrepreneurs tend to spend an inordinate amount of time. This is where we put all of our focus, because for some of us, that's where our own personal self-worth and significance, or maybe even our purpose, is derived from. This idea that it's in your career. And so people usually don't have a lot of issues with this. But even there, where that is prioritized, most people don't really achieve career success. Most people just kind of bounce along and are very mediocre in their career. Pareto's principle is undefeated for a reason. In any industry, if you run the Pareto principle, you'll find that about 20% of the people in that industry earn 80% of the money. Okay. Let me raise my hand and be the first to say, in the game of podcasting and being a YouTuber, I am in that 80% that's not making the money. Okay. But again, we're on a journey to success. I'm not going to boo-hoo and get down on it, but I just kind of know where I am in the grand scheme of things, which is encouraging me to do better. But even with people who claim to put their career first, those daily disciplines about what it takes to be successful in their career, when you really watch them, if you followed them for a day, if you followed them for a week, and you said, okay, show me your schedule, show me who you're meeting with, show me what you're studying, show me what you're reading, show me your calendar, show me your relationships around the office, show me how you're meeting people not only in your industry but outside of your industry. How many conferences have you gone to this year? How many classes have you taken to improve your skill? You'll find that most people, even those who have career at the top of their list or earning money or building their business, when you look at their daily disciplines, the things that they're doing every day to be successful, you know they're not doing those things. Right? So at best, they're just kind of under the radar, bobbing along. They have big dreams, but they're not going to achieve success because that daily discipline is just not there. All right. So career is on my list. And then, of course, finances, man. My man, Frugal Freddy, if you're still hanging out with me, let me know in the comments. All right. Finances are there. Okay. So how am I balancing my budget? And for the first time in a long time, I decided that part of that was just to bless somebody. Right. So who did I bless this month? Right. And guess what happened? Just with that intention of finding out who can I bless this month, I'm not the richest guy in the world. Okay. But something just came to me that says, as part of your financial success, somewhere in there, you need to have some money to bless somebody else. And so that's something that I'm looking at and I'm thinking about every single day and looking for opportunities to do that. Okay. It's a spiritual thing as well. And so if you've never tried it, try it. Many of you I know are probably very generous out there. You're helping other people, you're helping your family, etc. And that's a wonderful thing. I really want to big you up for that and encourage you to continue to do that. And then finally, personal. All right. So this is a part that I ignored for a long time, man. I was one of those people, Frugal Freddy, don't take any offense to this, but I was frugal in a quite self-loathing way. It wasn't in a healthy way, right? So I would deprive myself of a lot of things in service to whatever objective I would have. But nowadays, man, listen, I learned from my wife. I'm gonna spend a bag on myself. All right. I'm gonna get myself the best. Okay. I deserve it. All right. And that is part of my own success process. And guys, if anybody on here who takes for granted that you get treated differently based on how you dress, you've never really made that investment to see what that's all about. It is absolutely true that people treat you completely differently based on how you're dressed. It's not fair. All right. But it is the way of the world because what? We make snap judgments about people. All right. So I just wanted to talk about those areas and challenge you and ask you, and maybe you could jump here in the comments. How are you doing on your daily disciplines in whatever areas that you've established? How are you going to achieve this success that you want, knowing regardless, you could do all of these things perfect and it will still be hard? How are you grading yourself on your daily disciplines? I would love to hear in the comments, or maybe you could hit me up in the DM on LinkedIn or something like that. All right. And the reason why I'm not calling them habits, I'm calling them daily disciplines. If they were habits, they wouldn't be hard. The things that are habits are extremely easy for you to do, right? At this point, I'm hoping everybody brushing your teeth in the morning is a habit. You're not having to struggle and motivate yourself and listen to Les Brown and listen to Andy Frisella and listen to Grant Cardone to brush your teeth, right? You need that kind of motivation for things that are still daily disciplines for you. All right. And usually those daily disciplines and the things that make us successful is one of the things that we can't stand in the modern age is to be bored. Things that make you successful are extremely boring. Like this, I mean, I love you guys. I enjoy doing this, but I, in order to really do this on a consistent basis, it's not every day that I walk into the studio and I want to do a video like this, right? Because you got to do scripting. You got to think about it. You got lighting, background, all of that stuff. It's really boring. It's really tedious. And it's one of the reasons why people don't do what they need to do in order to be successful. I don't want to wake up at 5 a.m. to do a devotional. Honestly, I want to sleep in. Right after that, I don't want to go downstairs in my basement and do this body weight workout with this dude named Bully Juice. If you don't know Bully Juice, big shout out to Bully Juice. He's keeping me shredded, okay, with no equipment. Right? I'm getting my body together. I don't want to do that at 5:25 in the morning. But it's because these things I know have the compound effect, and these are the things that are actually going to make me successful long term. I don't want to do 20 minutes of meditation and write down my feelings and my emotions and all of that. But I know those things matter. And I'm not necessarily looking for a calendar date in the future. Of course, I have those calendar dates for my goals. But in terms of success, the way I'm redefining it for myself is what Earl Nightingale says, is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. My future self, my best self. What did I do today to get a little bit closer to that person? Right? So my future self has got the bag, obviously, well groomed, well dressed, well spoken, well connected, generous, great relationships, grounded, spiritually mature, all of those things. And that's what I'm really working towards. So I'm going to challenge you guys and everybody who's been here on this live. I am so thankful, grateful that you joined me. Hopefully this was valuable. And if it is, please subscribe to the channel, like the content, engage in the comments, and then hit me up on LinkedIn. I'm super active on LinkedIn if you want to have a conversation. All right, folks. So I'm going to let it wrap there. Thank you guys again. Until next time, I'll probably be back in a couple of days with another live. So subscribe so you can get the notification. All right. Until next time. Peace.